Let me tell you something. Here's exactly how I make over $40,000 from my bedroom and how I used to live in a basement suite and literally do this from my living room as well. So if that's something that interests you, I'm going to share with you the exact strategy that doesn't actually require you to start a business or do some like boring ass thing where you're like spending years building it up. This is high ticket sales and this is a skill you can learn pretty much within 1 to 2 months. And I'm going to share with you the math to actually make an absolute killing from your bedroom or from anywhere. So if you have a laptop, if you have Wi-Fi, then this is for you. So listen up. So here's how it works out to be 40 grand a month per month on average consistently from a laptop is very doable without actually starting your own business. You can make well over $250,000 a year. And realistically, you're going to need between 30 to 90 days to be able to actually earn a good amount. So your first 10 grand online, which is what we see with our students, as well as what I saw personally, going from a business owner to actual closer full-time within 3 months. And as soon as I actually went in full-time, then I started earning $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 per month. So here's my actual results. So these aren't like made up numbers. These are actually daily reports. These are KPI reports. If you don't know what that is, it's just basically tracking what your sales are, that sort of thing. So you can see this was December 28th, 2024. I had 9 calls booked. I had 7 closes. I did 33,000 in cash collected, 37,250 in revenue. And then that's 3,600 cash per call. So every single call I jumped on, I collected $3,694. We have another one here. As you can see, really good day. I only had 1 book that day, but I was really good at renewing and following up with customers, upgrading them, building that relationship with them. So I did around 43,000 in revenue. Cash collected was 25,000. And then cash per call was 25,800. As you can see, this was January 25th, 2025. Closed 10 calls, booked 5, or I booked 10, closed 5, cash per call. As you can see, this was January 2025, 2025. I had 10 calls, 5 closed, 11,000, 15,000 revenue. So a decent day there, not too good, but calls booked 9, closed 5, 28,000. So you get the point. These are my actual screenshots from my group chat. Now, I did have to block out the names, obviously, of the group chat and all that stuff, but this is what it actually looked like. 1 call, I had 9 calls, closed 11, 53,000. 1 call book, closed 8. And this is really how you make the money from your laptop. So if you're wondering, okay, how do I do this? What you do is essentially, we're selling the shovels and not the gold. So everyone's actually racing to trade like drop shipping, do stocks online, trade AI agency, which is a big thing that's coming up, SMMA. That's the gold rush. But people who actually get rich during the gold rush, they actually sell the shovels and not the actual gold. Because there's one thing for certain, the people going to dig for gold will need the shovels. Not everyone will make it, but at least you will make it by selling the shovels. So this is what everyone else is doing. They're doing these little day trading, e-commerce businesses, AI agency, they're buying courses. And what you should do instead is when everyone goes one direction, you got to go the other way. So stop being a customer and start being the person who actually gets paid when other people are already buying these products. By the way, this education space is a $682 billion industry, and there is a reason for this. You can probably guess why. The reason why is because they don't teach you this crap in normal college and high school. So people graduate and they're like, what the hell, man? I'm making 70 grand a year. I want to make more money. So this is the opportunity. People are spending billions of dollars per year on education outside of their workplace, outside of college. And this is the reason why. The e-learning market is not slowing down. It's replacing college. More influencers are popping up, especially since 2020, more courses, more buyers, and you just need to capitalize on it. By the way, if this sounds really interesting to you guys and you guys want to actually have opportunities to earn 20, 30, 40 grand a month, I track basically all the opportunities that I have in my group. So I'll train and place you within 30 days or you don't pay. Of course, there's an investment up front. But if you're actually willing to fast track your success and you're sick and tired of your job, then this is probably the easiest way to do it, is actually joining a community with a job board. So these are just some of the jobs we have currently available this week. As you can see, I track it every single week. And I've spent the past 2 years literally working in the industry, absolutely grinding, doing amazing, and collecting information and names and connections of people who are actually hiring and actually want closers and setters who are good in the space. So I have the connections for you. I've already worked with a lot of these people and they understand what I do. So if you want to get into the space and you want a job like this, where you can just tap into the job board, apply for all of them, click the link in the description, book a call with my team. We'll see if you qualify for the guarantee. If so, we'll hook you up and we'll make sure to change your life forever. So with that being said, let's get back to the video here. So what is an actual high ticket sales rep? So you actually partner with an influencer who's already selling a product, who's already doing the service, and you have a warm, eager audience. Now you get paid a commission on every time someone buys their course or program because the influencer is too busy to actually handle all these leads. So all you do is the influencer builds up, the followers reach out, and then the rep closes and earns the respect of those people and actually gets them over the finish line. And that's it. The whole industry works. Now, if the influencer is selling a course for like $500-$600, of course they won't need a closer. We're talking about higher ticket packages of coaching, mentorship, where it's one-on-one, it's actual done-for-you services. These packages usually range between $2,000 all the way up to $10,000 for B2C. And if you're selling B2B, so business to business, you're going to be in a spot where you're probably selling between $10,000 to $50,000, even more sometimes on the front end for these packages. So you're literally just the middleman with leverage. The influencer creates content, you collect the payment. There's no audience for you. There's no product. There's no content required ever. You're just the middleman. You don't have to worry about the delivery. That's why it's such a good industry to be in and get into. Why this works so fast is pretty simple. So traditional business models, you need lots of upfront capital, months and months until your first dollar. You have to spend money on ads, inventory, whatever it may be. And you have to build an audience from scratch to actually monetize your product, just like these influencers have done. It's a hard game. It's no guarantees. Or what you could do as a high ticket sales rep is you can just plug into a system that's already working. This requires virtually $0 to start out with. You can start out in 2 to 3 weeks as long as you have the right connections and training. And then you can leverage someone else's audience that they worked very hard to build up, spend lots of time and money building up that audience. And then you just sell their product. It's very simple. So how to actually find the right influencers. Not every influencer is worth your time. Here's exactly what separates a goldmine offer from a waste of time offer. And this is very important because if you're an amazing sales rep on a crappy offer, you're not going to make it. But if you're a crappy sales rep or like subpar and you find a great offer, well, you're going to do fantastic. And this is really the main piece of the industry that not a lot of people talk about. You need to find a good offer that actually flows and has consistent leads. So this is the green flags. Make money online content. So trading, freelancing, biz op, teaching you real estate. They have a high engagement. So they have an active cult-like following. They have hundreds of public testimonials. Now, this isn't necessarily one that's amazingly important because I've seen lots of offers and worked on offers that have had like 10 testimonials and they've just crushed. But the most important thing is they have an active Discord or community on school or private page that actually has a good internal group. So even if they don't have a lot of testimonies, they need to have at least a few hundred people in their group. Multi-platform presence, so on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, that sort of thing, and a unique personal brand that actually allows them to stand out, especially in the world we're in with AI and everyone's freaking recording crap on their phone nowadays. You need to be able to have someone who actually stands out. Now, these are the red flags, so try to avoid these. Low engagement, generic content, no public success stories. They're really like weird or unclear about like payment structure for the closer. Instead of just being like, it's 10% commission, they're like, oh yeah, there's all these like variables. And like, it's just, the industry doesn't work like that. It's like your commission, you start out at 8%. After 2 months, it goes to 10%. And then after you close your first million, it goes to 12% or something like that. And then it blends in. So nothing is unique about them. They're kind of just like another copy paste creator, which obviously it's not going to stand out for customers and their marketing is not going to work. And therefore you're not going to get the leads that you want. And then honestly, their content isn't monetizable. It's just like they're doing a bunch of shorts content instead of long form. They're not really running ads. And so this really is the biggest things you have to avoid. But the trading influencer with, 500 likes on a post and 1,500 member Discord and hundreds of testimonials will always be someone that's just like posting, oh, I'm going to help your relationship, or like, I'm like a health holistic coach, and they have like 10 followers that are just like, I don't know, like just some like person in their 40s that's like deciding to preach to other people. Like that's not going to actually make you money as a closer. You need something that's actually either a biz op or is a very, very strong brand that's differentiated. So setter versus closer, these are the two positions in the industry. A setter is usually where you're going to start out. A closer is usually where you'll advance up to. I never started as a setter, but setting is very easy. It's not very difficult. You just call the leads and you say, hey, I saw you put in a name in the form and you didn't book a call. What can I help with? It's very chill. It's really not complicated. But these are the two positions. A setter, average commission is around 6%. Usually they'll start you off at around 3 to 8%, and then you might have a base. So depending on that, depending on the lead flow, but you're still able to make a good 3 to 8 grand a month. And then closers, the average commission is 10%. If you see an offer that's like 15% commission, I would actually be like wary of it, because why would they pay their closers 15% if the leads were super good? You know what I'm saying? So like 10% on an offer is great. If you see a higher commission, 12% is fine. But like if you see like 15, 20% commission, it probably means the marketing is not good and the salespeople aren't able to make enough sales to actually keep them on board. And so the company cycles through closers. And so you want them to have a really good, simple comp structure, 10%, you'll on average sell like 150 to 300 a month. So you'll on average make like 15 to 30 grand a month. It's very simple math. So this is the actual math behind it as we're talking about it. So if you close a $5,000 deal, you pocket $500, which is essentially 10% commission. If you do that 20 times a month, that's 10 grand. Very simple. These aren't like fancy numbers here. Billions are spent on online courses every single day. Every single day. 2-3 billion. Think of this. The industry is not small. It's going nowhere. So an average setter at 5 deals would make 1.5K, 2.5K for a closer. And honestly, 5 deals a month is nothing. Same thing with 10 deals a month, but just show you how possible it is. 3K a month if you're doing part-time as a setter, 5K a month if you're doing part-time as a closer. And this is where you really need to be, is the sweet spot between 20 deals and 40 deals a month. You should average between these two, because then you're making between 10 to 20K a month starting out. Now, I understand most of you will start out keeping your job, keeping your position, and just slowly transitioning into this. And that's what I would recommend, because then there's no risk to you. You just keep your job like I did. I kept my business. I had a car dealership. And then what I did was when I actually started making 5-6 grand a month, and then I had the first month where I made 12 grand, I was like, all right, I'm going to actually transition over this because this is well worth it. So each deal had a $5,000 average ticket price. So essentially there's 2 ways to actually land your first offer. You can do cold outreach, which is tough. You can do it. But with the cold outreach method, you have to find the influencers on your own. You have to actually create the Loom video, send it, hope they open for it, hope they're hiring. Or you can skip all that pain and you can actually just join a paid sales group, which is what I offer, right? We do training and placement. It is not free. We have a guarantee that helps you get into it within 30 days, but it is certainly not free. And you join actually vetted groups hiring active reps, which is what you see here. This is all the people just this week at the time of recording, May 18th, that are hiring for high ticket sales roles. So there's lots and lots of good roles. As you can see here, 5K, 15K, 10K, 11.2K base, 10K, 75K, 15K. There's lots and lots of different roles here that you can scroll through. So if you want access to all these, then you're obviously skipping the line and you're just getting direct access to those good paid groups. So essentially what the point of this video is, if you want to make money from your bedroom, from your office, at home, or from wherever, if you're traveling, you have to stop buying the shovel. You have to start selling the shovel. And because there's like $2 to $3 billion every single day going into this industry, you have to understand that as long as you're on the section of selling these, you're going to get the better end of the stick for sure. Find the right influencer. Number 2 is land the role. Number 3 is start as a setter. And then number 4 is graduate to a closer. Those are your 4 steps. If you're doing this properly, it should take you between 30 to 90 days to make your first 10 grand online. And that's what we see on average with our students. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. But if you guys do want to get access to my paid group and you want to actually change your life, start earning money online without having to start your own business, then click the link down below, book a call with my team, and we'll see you there.